You did that thing. It's like you were almost like a DJ
like
does
this.
when it's like
I'm
real
DJ.
hot, like oh
No. When they're like this randomly and they're on a camera and they just do this and they meanwhile they're not doing shit because the song's playing anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's what it is. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Empire 161 Show, Season 3, Episode 10, a 4th of July edition. The Yankees aren't playing, but we're still here, so why not? We'll get into that in a second. Yeah, thanks for joining us. If you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, podcast, wherever you found that, we always appreciate it. Yeah, we're opening up with Michael King's entrance music, Messing with the King by Olivia King and Maya Starr. So we got that. It was a song I was actually wanted to like download for a little while now. As I heard it at the stadium, I'm like, okay, all right. But finally got to it. But yeah, with me as always, though, is Lisa Garcia. Lisa, what's up?
Hey, happy 4th of July, everybody. Fun fact for people who don't know me well, I love America, but I do not love fireworks. So these headphones that you see are going to be on from the moment this broadcast ends until tomorrow morning because I'm like a dog when it comes to loud noises. I get really scared. So that'll be me tonight. Yay, go fireworks. And I am so excited to talk about things today. I cannot believe it is really weird that the Yankees aren't playing today. It just feels wrong not to be watching my team play ball, but whatever, fine. Great with the schedule, folks. But I'm really excited to hear about your trip because you took a road trip with your lovely wife and my good friend Angie, and you went to go see the Yankees play the Cleveland Guardians, and it was a pretty good trip. It looked it, it seemed it, and what the Yankees did on it, except for the last game, was pretty good. So I'm excited to dive into that. We're going to talk about some famous Yankee connections and their ties to the 4th of July, and we'll talk about the last few series.
Yeah, so let's not waste any time. Let's get it going here. So the Yankees got a lot of connections on the 4th of July, which is it was interesting. We can start off talking about some birthdays. So today is happy birthday to John Sterling, radio voice of the New York Yankees. It's his birthday today.
We should have come up with a call for him.
A home run call for John Sterling.
Yeah.
Wow. We should have.
We should have been on top of that. I'm sorry, John Sterling. We failed you. Instead, we could just give you some dead air.
And there we go. Well, happy birthday to John Sterling, and also it would have been George Steinbrenner's birthday as well. So, acknowledge the boss on his birthday as well. And there's been some Yankees history, which is makes it really weird that they're not playing. So today was also the anniversary of Lou Gehrig giving his famous "Luckiest Man in the World" speech. Known throughout baseball. So that's also a historic day. Yankees history. Also, I've always found fascinated to the fact that, this is a man saying this and giving this speech knowing that he was, terminally ill. And that takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage, whatever you want to call it. That's always tremendous. And Lou Gehrig has always been like a historic Yankee. Obviously, I did not get to see play, but I've always been fascinated with for so many reasons. And that's just one of them. Like, just, the whole is, the streak and everything like that of games played, and then his ALS diagnosis and speech and everything, and just his on the field play. He was an absolute monster. Like, he was just out of control. So Lou Gehrig has always been a historic Yankee I've been fascinated with. And also in 1983 during our lifetime, Dave Righetti threw a no-hitter against the Boston Red Sox, retiring Wade Boggs to pretty much wrap that up. So, that's always been something that I wish I was, old enough to have appreciated more and to recognize. I was 4 years old, 4 years old at the time. So obviously didn't. My father has always told me stories about he was at a barbecue and knocking down some Budweisers and stuff like that and listening to it on the radio. So that's always just like a cool thing, because if you can't watch a game on the 4th of July, usually you're at a barbecue, and we had like team barbecues and stuff like that in the past where we'd always have the Yankees game on the radio at least, in the background. Yep. So that's always cool.
Yeah, just FYI, that's another thing I miss.
Yes, it's in. We can look at Labor Day. We talked about this off the air. We can look at Labor Day. It just if ever since we moved our team to Manhattan, it just seems like the Queens portion of the
Yeah,
team has gotten smaller, and it's like whatever. I know something. If 3 people show up, I don't care. We'll just do it. We'll
there
shoot
you
for Labor
go.
Day and make it happen. No, Lisa, you're right. You and actually DeAnthony has been another one who was like trying to like get this going again. So I think we try to make it happen again for Labor
Nice.
Day.
So there is one more thing about the Yankees that's a tradition every year, and today we don't get to see it because they're not playing. But John Sterling's co-host on the radio broadcast is very famous for wearing a god awful grandma vest, because that is the only way I could describe it. It is a grandma vest. My mom would love that thing. She probably wants to know where Susan Waldman got it, but Susan Waldman's infamous vest, which is like the Star Spangled sequin banner on her. And I don't know if you know this, Ed, but she actually wore that when she was battling cancer, and she
oh,
said that's what helped her get through it. So that's why she wears it every year. It's kind
that's
of like a
awesome.
reminder of what she's overcome.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a special significance to it, and I think that part of it's cool. But Susan, that vest though.
It has significance. We'll let it go. Listen, you had mentioned though before we went on that she was going to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Yes.
today,
Yes.
and rock that. Now I guess maybe I should have hung around a little longer and went because me and
should've.
Angie went on our trip. Yeah, we went. That was the first thing we did. Well, besides grab breakfast, we got breakfast and then we walked to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because Angie was awesome and got a hotel room that was literally 5 minutes away from the ballpark.
Nice.
And walking distance to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we thought of you while we were there
I
too,
know!
because there's a bunch of Prince stuff there too. Because you love Prince.
I know. She said so. First of all, I love you both so much because you both sent me pictures of significance on the trip. So just real quick, folks, I love Prince. He's my favorite of all time. Angie sent me a really cool picture from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame about Prince, which I really appreciated. And then during the game, without prompting, my co-host hooked me up and sent me pictures of Giancarlo Stanton because he was sitting very close to him. And then I don't know if you know this, but Angie also sent me some pictures of him.
She told me.
I requested.
We did not talk about that. Was not coordinated. I sent mine because I'm like, obviously, I know Lisa would appreciate this, and she went with it too. So
yes. And then the other thing that you sent me was their mascot Slider, who, gotta say, is a weird looking one.
Yeah, he's a little weird. He's definitely weird. I honestly, you know that like I historically don't really like mascots.
I know.
I'm
and
glad
I love them.
No, I know. And honestly, it was ironically in 2017 when I was in Houston. I think I told you this when they have their mascot named Orbit, and me and my father went there. We were doing our annual trip, and there was a little girl there who had like a little stuffed Orbit, and she was like so hard. She grew when Orbit came, and she was like hugging the little mascot so tight and staring at him. I just watched this whole interaction, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll let it go. I don't want the teams. I do cheer for one team that has a mascot, and I don't want the rest out. The Bulls have it. Benny the Bull is nuts. He's fun to watch, but I don't. The Yankees tried it once. Thank God, never again. Yankee Doodle was a disaster many years ago. The late 70s.
Terrible name.
Yeah, listen, if you get a chance, if you want to really like throw up in your mouth, Google Yankee Doodle and you'll see a picture of him. You can see why he didn't last very long. It's just terrible.
I'm doing that now.
Yeah, it's you might vomit on air. I mean, there's a chance. The Giants don't have one, and the New York Rangers don't have one, even though we have Dancing Larry, who thinks he's the team mascot with the Rangers. But I have an appreciation. I get it. I understand why people are about it. But yeah, Slider is a fun mascot too. We were like very close to him the whole series. So Yankee Doodle now. Look at your face.
Whoa.
How ugly is that thing?
What the heck is that thing?
Horrible.
Oh my God. Folks, if you've never seen this, what the heck?
It's scary.
Is creepy.
Like yeah,
no, I wouldn't like that one either. It's got like Don Mattingly's mustache. It's shaped almost like an upside down wiffle ball bat or something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like it has Babe Ruth's body.
I don't know. It was a very poorly conceived concoction
That's
by
creepy.
the front
Okay.
office.
That's creepy. I wouldn't like that one at all. But anyway.
It's brutal. It's brutal. But no, Slider was cool. You know, he's doing this whole thing. We were fortunate enough to score like seats that were. We were in pretty much in 3 sections, right behind the Yankees dugout, and you know we got to see them dancing on top of the dugout and everything. And he walked past us at the time. I was gonna try to get a picture with him to send to you, but it seemed like a bunch of kids like attacked him at the time. I'm like, listen, I'm not fighting these kids for a picture. Go for it, man. I'm gonna go continue watching the game. Anyway.
What you sent was amazing.
Yeah,
I loved it.
All right, but we'll get back to the Cleveland experience in a minute. Let's get into the week that was Bombers baseball. Let's go back to the homestand last Monday, where the Yankees went ahead and had a rally past the A's 9-5. The Yankees were down 5-1 at one point.
Yes, they were.
In this game early, and Jordan Montgomery clearly didn't have it. We talk about #runs for Gumby. They got runs for Gumby, thankfully, because Gumby didn't quite have it today on this day. He took a no decision, going 6 2/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, a walk, 6 Ks. Albert Abreu came out of the bullpen to pick up the win. But the Bombers offense really came through in a very weird rally, by the way that happened. So Rizzo goes ahead and gets them on the board. You know, hitting his 20th home run of the season. He was 1 for 3 on the night with 2 runs scored. Stanton also hit another home run, his 18th of the season at the time, going 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored and a walk. But then it was the 7th inning where the Yanks were down 5-2 at that point, 5-3, and they had the bases loaded. And in the same inning, they had 2 catchers' interferences against when Judge was hitting. That's how he reached base, and Stanton with the bases loaded. Now, if you're going to actually put your glove out there that close, if you're going to pick 2 guys in the Yankees to not do this to, probably Judge and Stanton, that's got to hurt.
That's got to hurt so much. And Susan Waldman, I was listening to the game at some point on the radio, and Susan Waldman said that she spoke to some of the Oakland A's broadcasting team, and this was not the first time that their catcher has done that they're actually known for catcher's interference.
Really? So Sean Murphy needs to get his act together because
yeah, he does.
That's rough.
That's really rough. And I agree with you. Those are the last 2 people I want getting my glove hit by their bats. Oh.
Yeah. But during that rally, though, Josh Donaldson hit a big 2-run double. You're going 1 for 3 on the night, driving in 2 runs scored. And Jose Trevino pretty much is the one who kind of capped it off with a 2-run single of his own, going 1 for 4 on the night with a run scored. I don't know when was the last time I've seen 2 catchers' interferences in the same inning.
Yeah.
That was nuts. That was a very strange rally, but, when you're Oakland A's, you put yourself in bad situations and shit happens, so you find ways to blow leads, and this night was a prime example of it.
Yep. And with that comeback win, that was their league-leading 23rd comeback win of 2022.
Yeah.
So the Yankees definitely know when to take advantage. When they can, they will, and they do.
That's what good teams do. You give that team. It reminds me very much like the dynasty era Yankees, like the '98 Yankees and stuff. Like whenever you gave them an extra out, suddenly there'd be like 5 runs on the board out of nowhere because they make you pay for it. You can't give them extra outs, and that's what the 2022 Yankees are doing a lot of. So
yes, they are.
And that's how you get to where they're at right now. The Yankees went ahead and took the second game of this series, much closer. Very tight pitch game. The Yankees went ahead and came out on top 2-1. J.P. Sears got the call up again, getting his 2nd start of the season, picking up his 3rd win of the year, going 5 2/3, 3 hits, a walk, and no earned runs. Clay Holmes picked up his 13th save of the season. Not a lot of offense. Obviously 2-1. No, Marvin Gonzalez was 2 for 3 with his 3rd home of the year, and Jose Trevino again pitching in, going 1 for 3 with an RBI. Sears has looked damn good in the 2 starts and the 2 relief outings he's come up with. So hopefully we get to see a little bit more of him, especially with Ron Marinaccio getting put on the IL yesterday with a dead arm. Sears got the call up and took his spot. So, we'll probably see some more moving forward. And also with the doubleheader, yesterday might have gone ahead and reset the rotation at one point. So they might go ahead and sneak in. And plus, I know the Yanks wanted to limit the innings of Severino and Nestor and stuff like that throughout the year. So Steers could be the perfect guy to take those spot starts that are needed.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I was very impressed by, like you said, by both of his starts this year so far. So I hope he just continues to do that when he's needed. I think that's great. And with this win, the Yankees are the fifth team since 1920 to win at least 55 of their first 75 games to begin a season. So, Ed, I feel like, every broadcast we're talking about how there's exciting things happening with this team, and there's a lot more firsts happening, which is pretty remarkable considering the team that they're on. So
Yeah.
It's pretty cool what they're getting, what versions of the Yankees and what versions of other great major league teams they're being compared to, and then the individual players. I'm sure we'll get to this at some point, whether it's in this episode or not, but if Aaron Judge hits 30 plus home runs before the break, it's pretty exciting, and there may be a number we might have to watch for at the end of the season.
Yeah, whatever, we can talk about it. It's fun. 61 is the record that most people will look at. It's considered the clean home run record.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a huge deal if he can pass Roger Maris and hit 62 home runs plus and be the first clean player to do that. So
yep.
that would be a tremendous feat, and I think the stadium it's been buzzing as it is. If this pace continues, later in the season in September and stuff like that, maybe they would have wrapped up the division and stuff. So this might be the focal point of what is drawing people. And I think that the whole fan base will be on fire. The stadium will be rocking every night going into the playoffs because that will be the focal point.
Yeah.
At that point, it would be, no better Yankee to go ahead and to be able to do that. I mean, he was a class act on and off the field and everything. So he's the kind of guy you want to have that record. You feel good for him to do that.
Yeah. Also, let's just name that if he doesn't do it, he's still having one of the best seasons we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah. And since his 2017 season, which some would say he got screwed out of the MVP that year because
no. It's not some would say. He did. He got screwed.
He did. And I'm sure there might be some Astros fans that might disagree with us.
I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. All right, but Wednesday afternoon, the Yanks went ahead and completed the sweep of the A's by a final of 5-3. The offense was two big swings by the Yanks. But the pitching, though, Jameson Taillon, though, picking up his 9th win of the season. His record is 9-1 now. Won 5 innings, scattered 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Definitely got off to a rough start in the first couple innings. And then settled down nicely after that. Clay Holmes picked up his 14th save of the season. But those two big swings we were talking about, there was Aaron Judge hitting his 29th homer of the year. He was 1 for 3 on the day. 2-run score. They were down 3-0 in the first inning, and then he went ahead and hit a 2-run homer to go ahead and to get them right back into it. And the other one was Giancarlo Stanton going 1 for 3 with his 19th homer of the year, 3 RBIs. Pretty impressive shot the other way, for that 3-run homer. DJ LeMahieu was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and a walk. DJ was having himself quite a week, kind of quietly, but starting to look more like the machine that we were used to from a couple of years ago.
Yes. And when Giancarlo Stanton hit his 3-run home run, that gave the Yankees 57 home runs for June, breaking the record held by the 2016 Orioles and 2019 Braves.
Yeah, it's tremendous. And I know there was a stat that was mentioned when I was in Cleveland, but the Yankees have hit more home runs in June than the Guardians have all season.
Yes, and it's not just the Guardians. There's a couple of other teams that stat is accurate for as well. So,
pretty impressive month of June. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely.
And a season when the ball's considered to be dead.
Yep.
So even further, highlights what the Yanks are doing this season so far. But then the Yankees went due to the scheduling quirk that happens to start the season. We know what happened. It was the lockout, not lockout, whatever the heck you want to call it. Season started 2 weeks late. So these awesome schedule makers decided to make a 1-game series against the Astros
Okay.
It was stupid. It's stupid.
Let's just talk about exactly how stupid it was. The Astros were on the East Coast. I think they were they weren't in New York anymore, I don't think. But they were.
They were.
They were playing the Mets.
Yes.
They were in New York. Both teams had to fly to Houston to play this stupid game. I mean, come on, just play the game at Citi Field or play at Yankee Stadium, but let the Astros be the home team. Like, so dumb.
Well, the Astros owners want the gate. They know this was going to be a sellout. That's what it is. They want the gate. They're not going to the owners aren't going to give up the gate for anything. That's what this is about. I
understand, but that's what it's so dumb. What a waste of a one-game series.
Well, what's more aggravating is obviously the Yankees were shut down 2-1 and a very good pitcher's role.
Yes, it was.
Yankees didn't get a lot of offense going though. Luis Severino gets his third loss of the season, but he was pretty solid in this night. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. The offense was one swing by Anthony Rizzo, 1 for 3 with his 21st homer of the year, and a walk as well. So he got on base twice, and the only thing Yankee to reach base twice was Stanton going 2 for 4 on the night. But the Yanks' streak of winning series was snapped because this is considered a series. So they lost the one game. I just don't understand why it should be considered a series. It should be this game and the doubleheader that it starts the second half of the season. That's the 3-game set. That should be the series, not a 1-game series. That I thought was kind of stupid.
It's
not
very
just the Yankees
stupid.
lost, but you know.
No, it is very stupid. And just to be fair, because we are fair, despite what some of our fans think, I do have an Astros stat for us. So during their 7-2 stretch versus the 2 New York teams, the starting pitchers for the Astros posted a 1.52 ERA. So, yeah, they were kicking both ours and the Mets' butts when it came to that. And even though we had a couple of pitchers duels throughout that, we ultimately couldn't match them on this one. And like you said, we broke our streak with the one game. So.
Yeah, and listen, the way Yankees Astros gone, I've heard some of this on the Sports Talk radio and stuff like that, which just seems like it's a little bit overblown. Yes, the Yankees did handle. I mean, the Astros did have handled the Mets. They swept them 4 straight this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Yanks are 2-4 against the Astros. All right, 2-3 against the Astros this season. So we'll see what happens. Yes, there was a no-hitter mixed into their combined no-hitter at Yankee Stadium during our week off hiatus, but the Yankees also had 2 walk-offs against the Astros as well. So that's got to be in the Astros' mind that you can't close out the Yankees either. No lead is safe against them either. This was a winnable game. The Friday night game, we lost to them 3-1. The Yankees had the winning run on first base with LeMahieu up in the bottom of the 9th inning. And being at that game, you kind of got the feeling, here we go again. The Yankees are going to come back, and this was going to happen. There's no lead that's safe against them. So that's what I think the message the Yankees have had. And we do anticipate that these teams will meet in the playoffs. And it'll probably be another crazy series again. So we'll see what happens in the doubleheader in Houston to start the second half. But I think it just seems to be 2 heavyweight fighters exchanging knockout blows. That's how I've seen these games. That's how it's gone. Every game could have went either way. Even the no-hitter could have went. They lost 3-0.
Right.
So it's not inconceivable that they could have won that game as well. So, but yeah, so Yankees went ahead on and moved on to Cleveland for what turned out to be a doubleheader because Friday night's game was rained out. But Saturday, first half of the doubleheader, Yankees went ahead and pretty much mopped the floor with Cleveland by a final of 13-4. Game that was never in doubt. Garrett Cole picked up his 7th win of the season, pushing his record to 7-2. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 6 Ks. DJ LeMahieu was 2 for 4 with his 8th homer of the year. 3 runs scored, 2 walks, continuing to just get on base at a ridiculous pace. Gleyber Torres was 3 for 4, had himself a day, 3 RBIs and a run scored. Aaron Hicks was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and 2 runs scored. But the man of the afternoon, who but Matt Carpenter getting the start at first base with Rizzo getting the afternoon game off. 3 for 5 with 2 home runs, giving him 8 on the season, driving in 4, 2 runs scored, and Jose Trevino hitting his 7th home run of the season. Fair enough that 2 of these homers did come off Clemente. In the 9th inning, they put in a position player who was going ahead and throwing it was like 37-mile-an-hour pitches, breaking balls that would get in there. You can see Carpenter's like, listen, I'm not playing that shit. Bang. And just like, I'm going to get my home runs when I can. And Trevino did too. So 2 big bombs hit off him. But Yankees got it going. And then they completed the sweep of the day on Saturday night, 6-1. Nasty Nestor Cortez, though, got the start in the nightcap, picking up his 7th win of the season, pushing his record to 7-3. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, which was just a solo shot. In the first inning, no walks and 6 Ks. Clay Holmes picked up his 15th save of the season, who had to come in and put out a fire that was getting, a mess was getting made there, too. He picked up his 15th save of the season. Not to get lost in the shuffle, Aroldis Chapman was activated for this day and came in, made his debut, and faced 3 batters, walked them all, and was getting booed in Cleveland by the Yankee fans that were in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So any weird ideas that people may have had about Chapman going back into the closer's role, which would be completely nuts, that kind of, I think, got put to rest real fast. But in that game, though, Anthony Rizzo was 2 for 4 with his 22nd homer of the season. 2 runs scored. Giancarlo Stanton was 2 for 4 with his 20th home run of the season. They went back to back in that one. IKF was 1 for 3 with an RBI and his 12th stolen base of the season. And there was a nice fireworks display after the game, I will say. It's something we don't get in the Bronx. And honestly, I don't want in the Bronx. I think it would be weird if they did a fireworks show after the game. But a lot of other teams I've seen this in other cities too.
Yes.
The Astros, I was there for like a Game of Thrones fireworks show that they did. So that was actually kind of cool, as also a Game of Thrones fan. Kansas City, me and Angie saw a game that was rain delayed until 2:00 in the morning when they did their fireworks display. Yeah, it was nuts. It was our first game that we went to with that series, and it was a crazy. But they still stuck to it. I thought they were going to cancel the fireworks display. Pretty sure I saw someone in Chicago on the South Side and with the White Sox, and in Seattle. I think Seattle may have done them last year too when I was there. So
okay. We have to acknowledge something because it's about my man. Giancarlo Stanton's home run in the 4th made him the 7th fastest Yankee to hit 100 home runs with the club. It took him 403 games.
And some have complained about his production. So imagine if they would have think about that for a second. He was one of the fastest Yankees to hit 100 home runs.
In the top 10 of all the Yankees. All the Yankees of all time.
Yes.
Y'all need to shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop talking about my man.
Yeah, honestly, just give it a rest. It's just ridiculous. It's an old narrative that just doesn't work anymore. So just drop the Stanton crap already. All right, but then yesterday afternoon, though, the Yanks dropped they didn't get a chance to go for the season sweep because they did win the first 5 games against the Guardians. They did drop this one, too, so they finished the season series 5-1 against them. They lost 2-0 yesterday afternoon. Jordan Montgomery, this was a runs for Gumby game that did not work out because Montgomery took his 2nd loss of the season, pushing his record to 3-2. He went 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. Josh Donaldson got pretty much the lone hit for the Yankees because they did get a rally. Yanks did rally in the 9th inning. Judge had this afternoon off. DJ had the afternoon off. But the Yanks, again, did come. They were trying to come back in the 9th inning. Judge was up with 2 runners on as the go-ahead run, but they walked him, and then Hicks grounded out to second to end the game, and DJ was on deck. So they did go ahead and rally again. So, again, the Yanks are just never out of any of these games. They're going to lose some games, but when you do lose, it's important to show fight in that game and still threaten to win that game. That just shows and lets the other team know that, nothing is safe. That you still have a chance. One swing of the bat, and they go ahead and take the lead in this thing.
Right. I do want to say, though, Tristan McKenzie, first of all, he looked like he was 12.
Yeah.
He looked so young, and he had a great game. I mean, he struck out 7 Yankees in 7 scoreless innings, and it was the Guardians' first time shutting out the Yankees since 2003. So good for him. He's a young pitcher. I'm sure that can't do anything but boost your confidence when you shut out the Yankees and have such a great game. So, you have to give kudos to him. He pitched very well.
And to quote our man John Sterling, whose birthday it is, just can't predict baseball, Susan. Just can't. Many try, but you just can't. You can't predict baseball because you never know. I mean, listen, McKenzie had a 5+ ERA going into this game, going against the Yankees. We're going for a sweep over here again, and he had it. That's just the way it works. So.
Yep,
that's how it is. All right, let's go ahead and get to our awards of the week. Quickly, go ahead and we get our top of the heap hitter of the week, because this is what we do. We will name our hitters of the week, and I am going to start this one off this week.
Go ahead.
DJ LeMahieu, the machine. He is my top of the heap hitter of the week over his last 7 games, 286 with a 464 on base percentage and a 429 slugging percentage. 6 hits, 8 runs scored, a home run, an RBI, but 7 walks, though. Only 3 strikeouts and 2 stolen bases.
DJ.
Not really DJ's forte there, but being opportunistic there and picking the spot. So welcome back to the machine, who will hopefully get his numbers on the season back to the 290-ish range of where we're used to seeing. So Lisa, who do you got?
I see your DJ LeMahieu, and I offer you Matt Carpenter. Because I don't know how many times he's going to get top of the heap status, but when he does play, he takes advantage. So during this week of baseball, Matt Carpenter's average was a 429. His OPS was 1.715. He had 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 2 runs, 3 hits. His on-base percentage was 429, and his slugging percentage was a 1.286. You got to show love when the players that don't get much playing time do what they have to do, and he has consistently been doing that. 9 out of 12 of his hits have been home runs. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Between him and Trevino, it's just so much fun to watch those, the position players, the extra players that don't get those starts. It's just fun to watch them. Because, Trevino gets more playing time. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, I just love what they've contributed to the team so far. I love Matt Carpenter's story. So yeah, I had to give him some shine this week because he did a good job.
Carpenter is seizing every opportunity he gets. He even played a little outfield yesterday.
Yeah.
Afternoon in that game. So nice to see him, being versatile so he can get in the lineup more. And he's definitely earned it. All right, so for our pitcher of the week, I will refer to as our King of the Hill. So, Lisa, who do you got? Who's your King of the Hill pitcher of the week?
I had to go with J.P. Sears.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So his ERA over the last week was a 1.08. He pitched 8.1 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. His whip is a 0.84, and his batting average against is a 222. But like we said, this was his second spot start, and he held it down. He did what he had to do, and then he came in relief for one of the games and also held it down there. So good job, JP Sears, always showing up when we need you.
Yeah, well, Sears is an excellent choice there, and like I said, we hope to see him a lot more. I went with Clay Holmes.
Okay.
That's gonna be my guy for the week. Going 2 1/3. Giving up 2 hits, no earned runs, picked up 2 saves on the week, no walks and 2 strikeouts. I actually picked up 3 saves, correction, not 2, 3 saves on the week, and just completely cementing that closer role that he's got. And I would be astounded if we're going to see Clay Holmes in the All-Star game. There's no question about that. Obviously, Judge was the unanimous choice this week, so he will be starting in the All-Star game. And listen, go stuff the ballots for Trevino and Stanton.
Yes. I was just gonna say that there's a couple of Yankees that are right there on the cusp, and I need my man in the All-Star game. So for me, fans, vote for Giancarlo. Yeah, and Trevino. Trevino deserves it too.
Trevino too, man. Stuff the ballot for both, and we're gonna see multiple pitchers. Nestor Cortez will be on the All-Star team too. I'm sure Garrett Cole would be too. But let's go ahead. Let's get Stanton and Trevino into there. So log in to MLB.com and do what you got to do. stuff to battle as much as you want.
Starting
Toronto does it all the
tomorrow.
time. Yes, tomorrow, begin. You can vote up to, I believe it's still 5 times a day.
5 times a day.
Yeah,
Yep.
so listen, you can do it super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Do it while you're on the toilet. Do it while you're eating lunch. Do it while you're on the train. Do it anywhere. Yep. Yes, anywhere. You will have
use all your email addresses, all your email. Y'all know you still have that AOL one. I still have mine. Yes. If you have Hotmail, if you have Gmail, if you have work mail, but just be careful with that one. Yes. Do it with all your emails.
Yeah, and then also the Yankees.com will send you a discount code.
Yes, they will.
Tickets. So
yes, they will.
Boom, there you go. There's some more incentive to go ahead and let's get some more pinstripes into the All-Star game there.
Yes.
So, all right, and let's go ahead and take a look forward as we normally do for the upcoming series. The Yanks will be going ahead and making their way to Pittsburgh, which I didn't realize was only 2 hours away from Cleveland. Otherwise, I might have altered my vacation plans this year and probably rented a car. I've been to PNC before, but I would have definitely done it again. PNC is a beautiful park in Pittsburgh. So, Lisa, who do we got coming up? Who the pitching matchups for the Yankees and Pirates?
Okay, so this is my segment, right? I always talk about the pitching probables, and lately there's been a lot of TBD. Can you put your stats up, please, folks? Can you put who your pitcher is going to be up? Because I only have 1.5 games worth of information to share with you. Of course, I'm going to do that right now. So tomorrow in game 1, we've got Jose Quintana, who is a left-hand pitcher. He has a 1-4 record, 3.43 ERA, and 67 strikeouts. He will be battling against Jameson Taillon, who is a right-hand pitcher with a 9-1 record, 3.32 ERA, and 69 strikeouts on the season. Game 2 on Wednesday. We don't know who's pitching for the Pirates because they didn't put the information up yet. And I sometimes look 5 minutes before the show. Sometimes I do that because I care about this show and I want to be as accurate as possible. All right, Major League Baseball, get your stuff together. Now, we do know that Luis Severino will be pitching against the formidable TBD. Luis Severino is our right-hand pitcher. He has a 4-3 record, 3.35 ERA, and 91 strikeouts on the season already. I also looked ahead at game 1 versus Boston, but it's TBD versus TBD. So, undefeated versus undefeated.
A little early for that one. So, and it'll be the Yanks' first trip to Fenway this season.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's a very odd schedule this season.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, a couple of quick things I wanted to mention, though. As Lisa had mentioned, that I did go ahead and make my way. I just got back from Cleveland this morning. I was there for the series because I do have this thing. It's a baseball bucket list trip where each season I try to knock off 1 or 2 ballparks and see the Yankees play there. So we are closing in the home stretch, though. There are less than 10 left. Very excited about that. And when it happens, though, it doesn't end. Then it'll just be like the greatest hits because then I'll just start coming back to the ones that I just like. But my first time at Progressive Field, Jacobs Field, whatever. I don't know what it always is Jacobs Field, but it is Progressive Field. Flow is everywhere throughout the stadium. It's kind of crazy. But honestly, it's a beautiful ballpark. It's very much reminiscent of Camden Yards. For those who have been to Camden Yards, you could see it's the same designers. It's just taller, and but it's really nice. The food was pretty awesome.
What'd you have?
So they don't have their specialty menu, since we talk about like steak sandwiches and things like that. Theirs is stuff I didn't want any part of, but I give them credit for being creative. It's just hot dogs with like Fruit Loops and peanut butter and like crazy stuff on it. A lot of people had it. There were a lot of people walking around with them. I wasn't trying to have it. I wasn't trying to have any of that. Normally, I would try this crap.
Did they have children make this menu?
That or they were high. It's one or the other. I mean, maybe both.
I don't like hot dogs to begin with, but a hot dog with Fruit Loops or a hot dog with peanut butter? I like peanut butter, but
Okay. So
no, I do love peanut butter. Yes.
One thing I do want to highlight, though, well, number one, their bratwurst is awesome, and there on certain nights they will have specials there, and the Friday night game, which turned into Saturday afternoon, but we still got the special when we walked in. they had $2 Miller Lights with no limit. With no limit. That's dangerous. I'm just letting you know that right now. That's dangerous.
Can I do an over under on how many you had?
I will say we had a few the first night, and then the game got rained out, and then we left to some bars, and we were bar hopping after that. But the other thing, though, is they had dollar hot dogs.
Regular hot dogs.
They were a little smaller than usual, and they were like wrapped up in tinfoil. It was not like the traditional hot dog, but of course, and it was at the same stand. So of course, I walk up. I'm like, all right, let me get 4 Miller Lights, 4 hot dogs, because they were like small hot dogs. And me and Angie, we did go in a little bit on this until they told us the game was rained out, and then we left and continued our night. We actually found some cool spots there in Cleveland to hang out in. But that was the case, and then they had the $2 Miller Lights for game 1 of the doubleheader on Saturday. So we resumed that and kept that going as well. So there were plenty of Miller Lights to be had. I think there was probably like 4 or 6 at each game before we switched over to something else. So they were regular sized cans. They weren't like the tall boys and stuff. But yeah, the nachos I didn't get a chance to get to. They looked like they were awesome. The nachos, you would have been all about it. So I thought of you when I saw that. They had the helmet nachos.
Come on,
and
man!
It was like
no,
pork or chicken.
No,
yeah. You would have been all
my heart.
You would have been all for it. So, yeah, I didn't get a chance to get to that, but everything was nice though, like the atmosphere and everything, the games that they have in between. I caught a T-shirt in the second game of the doubleheader, so I rarely get a chance to do that. I get compliments on the catch. I will say that because I was talking to Angie and she was about to get up and go get us some more drinks. And I saw the T-shirt coming. I just reached behind her and grabbed it and pulled it back in.
Nice, good job.
It was pretty good. And I made sure to look to see I didn't snatch it from like a kid or something. Otherwise, I would have been like, I held up the T-shirt and just gave it to the kid, and that's it. And no, I didn't try to throw it back at the person who threw it to me because Angie stopped me many years ago from throwing it back at Mr. Met when I caught a T-shirt. I was gonna peg him right with it, but then she told me not to. So.
Why are you trying to take out mascots?
No, I didn't catch it from a mascot this time. It was one of their random, like, I don't know what you want to call it, like rally.
The T-shirt gun.
Yeah, whatever. The crew that they have there. So there was that.
So when you were walking around town, did you get to see the Guardians, the actual Guardians?
Did not see the actual Guardians. We did make it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As we had mentioned that earlier. So there was that we got to see. I wanted to go see the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Then realized it was an hour plus away, and we didn't rent the car, so that was going to be a pretty expensive Uber ride. So next time, because I do see myself going back to Cleveland one day.
Okay,
it was cool. I enjoyed the town. Everyone was nice. It did have a weird thing where some restaurants we went to, there was a bit of a shortage in the kitchen, so that was a bit strange. But the food was good. We had a whole bunch of stuff. People recommended going to the casino for the buffet breakfast, which we went to. That was interesting because it wasn't just breakfast, it was everything. And I will mention this because Angie was making threats of this. On the receipt, it said brunch. So she was trying to make it out that I had participated in brunch, but I did not because I went there and I had a plate of breakfast food, and that was separate. It took some time, and then tried some lunch stuff, and then had ice cream. That's why I didn't get to the.
So you had breakfast, brunch, and dessert.
I had no mimosas. I drank no orange juice. I did nothing of the sort. Not participate in that garbage. It's not right. It's
Folks,
ridiculous.
Can I just say, Ed's got a couple of things he's very particular about. Brunch is one of them. He refuses to acknowledge it. He also refuses to acknowledge any kind of shower, whether it's a bridal shower, a baby shower.
No. Well, listen, hold on. I'm going to clear up the shower thing in a second. Right? Let's clear up the shower thing in a second. Bridal shower. Nonsense. Unless, well, actually, all right, nonsense. If the people have been living together and they already have their house established, it's nonsense. Because you already have that stuff. A bridal shower is supposed to be for people starting their life together and going ahead and they're going to furnish their home. So then I get it. I kind of understand the bridal shower. But you also don't go ahead months later and then give them a gift for their wedding. Why are you getting this? It makes no sense. Baby shower. You get the first kid. You get your gifts. Not second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. No.
Wait.
Stop.
Okay, what if first kid is one sex and second kid is another sex?
All right, fine. We'll make an exception.
Make an exception there. Okay. Your wife had a bridal shower. I know this because I went to it.
I didn't go.
I know you didn't go. It was an all-female one. You went to it.
There are dudes who go to these things.
No, sometimes it's usually women, but there are what they call Jack and Jill ones, which I prefer. Listen, I don't like bridal showers or baby showers where it's all just women. I love my friends. It's not them. It's just about the conversations had at those things. So I really appreciate it when there's guys there too. Because then I don't have to talk about some of the things that I have zero in common with these other folks. But you benefited from your wife's bridal shower.
I didn't want it
because I helped you. I helped people bring things back to the house.
I drove there. I picked it up. I would have been all for
I helped.
I would have been all for no gifts there, or then I would have been like, don't give us gifts at the wedding. I'm not trying to go in and milk this thing. It's about people milking this shit. They milk it. That's my point. I'm calling people out on milking stuff at showers because it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
So you know what I appreciate? I have a friend who's getting married next year in another country, and they made it very clear, if you're going to the wedding, you don't have to get us anything. And I'm like, that is great because I shouldn't have to. I'm paying for this trip.
Destination wedding, no gift.
Yes, absolutely. And
that's the gift. I am here. That is the gift.
Yep. I'm very excited about that trip, by the way. But.
As you should be. But I'm just saying, there are just things to, that you need to call out on. Just because it's tradition doesn't mean that it's right. That's the point. We can update things. It's okay. We can grow. We can improve as a society. I'm getting off my soapbox now regarding this crap because it's nonsense. I wasn't planning on going here tonight and shooting down showers and crap like that, but it is what it is.
I love talking about that with you. You make me laugh every time.
And I'm just telling the truth, man. It's it. It's just what I don't know. There's people who it's nonsense, and then some of the gifts you see are crazy.
Like, I mean, all right. I think one of these days, like I want to go on like the A to Z show. I think we need to go and just like have a rant about because gift registries. I remember both of my older brothers got super excited and felt all full of power with their registry guns. And my oldest brother randomly got a jar that was in the shape, it was a glass jar in the shape of a head. What do you need that for?
It's nonsense.
What do you need it for? He was actually very upset a few years later it broke, and he was very upset because he loved it. But what are you doing with the glass jar in the shape of a head? Nothing. Why do you need that?
Because why he was doing it? He was doing it to be a jerk.
You were just going bing, 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 bing,
exactly.
That's it.
He probably thought it was funny. And I'm going to be honest, I think it's funny.
He did. No, he did. He thought it was funny and ironic. He wanted to see who would buy it for him. Somebody actually bought it for him. And he loved that glass head until it died. But that's one of the things that I have to say with registries. You don't need, I'm going to say, a good quarter of the things on your registry. Now, I will say this. Your wife, I think, has used everything from your registry. Oh, just about. Because I know.
We'll give an update next week on that. I will go look for it because I was criticizing someone. I was like, why did you ask for this? I'm not blaming the person. I'm blaming you. You asked for this. Not the person who bought it. You. Why do you need this?
I am happy to report that the things that I got her, she has used multiple times. So
she has used some of it. I'm not saying she hasn't.
She's because she does a lot of things though. Angie is a Jill of all trades. She uses a lot of things. She's extremely creative. So I was not surprised by anything on your registry.
I think I've used one thing on the registry.
Which one?
Jasmine got us this fire pit for outside. I've used that. It was
nice.
Chilly outside. I've used the fire pit. It was pretty cool. I'll say
nice. That. Fire pits are dope.
Yes, there you go. I will say one thing out of I don't know what was the rest of it. Thank you for anyone who participated in that. I'm not saying that's not the case, but not necessary. Not necessary. No, that's my point. Unnecessary. All right, now definitely off the soapbox. So let's wrap this thing up. People got fireworks to watch or not watch or anything. So we got that going. So thanks for joining us tonight, as always, especially if you joined us for the live show on this 4th of July. Happy 4th of July again. Happy birthday, America. Happy birthday to Steve Rogers as well. Today is Captain America's birthday. So, there you go for that. So thanks for joining us. If you're joining us on Facebook, join the Empire 161 Show group page and share lineups and highlights and all other fun stuff. Check that out. Join Pop Culture Pros as well. Lots of fun stuff on that page because that's who we're presented by is Pop Culture Pros. Joining us on YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros as well. If you're joining us on Twitter, at our own account, at Empire 161 Show, go ahead and follow us and like us and check us out. Tweet us whatever you want. We share lineups and stuff there too as well. So check that out. And if you check this out on your audio only version, hit subscribe to Pop Culture Pros and check out a bunch of fun stuff. If you're into comic books and movies and TV shows, check out Granny's Peach Tea, where we talk about Steve Rogers on his birthday and everywhere else. Jason and I will be back Thursday afternoon at a very weird time at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. We'll be talking about the latest episodes of Miss Marvel and The Boys and the season finale of The Flash. So check us out. If you want to hear more about Jason and Jason talking about James Bond with Genie, check out Double O Deep Dive. They're usually on Monday nights, but they're on hiatus at the moment. One like Tim. You want to check out Tim and wrestling and everything else, you can check out the Just Too Sweet Show with Tim and Eric. You want more Tim and Eric, check out the A to Z Show, as we had mentioned earlier. They're usually on Friday nights. They cover everything from A to Z under the sun. If you want more Tim and you like Star Wars, check out Shoot the Sith, where he goes ahead and talks about Star Wars. So check him out. If you like Disney, check out Skyliner Views with Ashley and Gabby. I think it's all about Universal Studios this week. So a little change of pace for them. So they're on Thursday nights. You go ahead and check them out. If we have some Met fans who check out our show. Check out the Put It in the Book show with Farachi and Rodriguez and Keith, who cover the New York Mets. So, Lisa, let's go Yankees. Enjoy your week. And we'll see you next week, all right?
Don't forget to vote starting tomorrow.
Yes, vote Yankees. Vote them a lot. Vote them as much as possible. Vote Stanton. Vote Trevino. Let's go. All right. Peace.
Happy 4th, everybody.